The galaxy had forgotten Earth. It had been over 200 years since anyone heard from the small blue planet. No signals, no ships, no presence in trade or war. Many believed Earth had fallen during the old wars. Some said it had destroyed itself. Others thought the humans had simply vanished into history. The Varnock Empire, one of the strongest powers in the galaxy, now ruled 3 sectors that once belonged to humans. Their fleets moved freely. Their patrols crossed near Earth's solar system often, but they never saw anything, just empty space and quiet planets. To them, Earth was finished, dead. A Varnock scout ship named Blade of Storm moved quietly past the edges of the Sol system. Its captain Tovarlek was bored. The mission was simple: scan the system for any strange energy, then return. He had done it before. Every time the result was the same. Silence. Lek sat in his command chair, his long claws tapping the metal arm. "Any signs?" he asked. The crew responded with tired voices. No life signs, no power sources, no movement. He leaned back and smiled. As expected, Earth is a grave. But then, something strange happened. Captain, one of the 20 officers, shouted, "We picked up a pulse." Lek sat up straight. "What kind of pulse?" "It's slow, very deep, like a heartbeat, but mechanical." Everyone in the control room turned toward the screen. On the map, near the dark side of Earth's moon, a small red dot blinked, then another, then a third. Lek stood and stepped forward. "Focus all scans on that location." Now the ship's sensors stretched out, searching. The blinking dot grew larger. It was something huge, too big for a ship, too still to be a station. And then it moved. From the darkness, a shape slowly appeared. It was covered in black plating. Its surface had no lights, no signs, no windows, but it was there, massive and terrifying. "What is that?" whispered one of the crew. Lek couldn't speak. His eyes were locked on the screen. The thing had been hidden near the moon, completely silent. Cloaked dot, then the silence broke. A single message came through on all channels in old Earth code. "We see you." The Blade of Storm began to shake. The engines whined. The ship's AI screamed warnings. Power levels dropped. Weapon systems failed. "It's jamming us," cried an engineer. "We're locked." Lek shouted, "Emergency retreat, get us out." But the alien ship, no, the human ship, was already moving. Without firing a single shot, it floated forward like a shadow. Its presence alone froze the entire Varnock crew in place. Then it vanished again, gone silent once more. Back on Varnock Prime, the Empire's High Council met within hours. "This cannot be," said Chancellor Rukar. "Earth has no warships left." An old general stood. "I served in the Earth Wars. That shape, I know it. It was one of their dreadnoughts." Gasps filled the room. "But the dreadnoughts were destroyed," said another. The general shook his head. "Some were lost, some were hidden." The room went quiet, far above Earth, deep under its moon's surface. Lights came on, ancient metal groaned, dust fell. Sleeping systems began to wake, and in a dark chamber, cold and alone, a man opened his eyes. His name was Commander Eli Ward. He had slept for 200 years. He sat up slowly, his breath fogging in the cold air. The AI voice spoke gently. "Commander Ward, time to wake up. We are needed again." He blinked, then smiled. Outside, the dreadnought known as the Silent Storm powered up its engines. The stars around it flickered as its shields came online. One by one, more signals appeared near Earth, near Mars, near Titan. Hidden bunkers, old stations, deep space weapons, all coming back online. The galaxy thought Earth was weak, but Earth had simply been waiting in silence. And now the silence was over. The signal from Earth spread like wildfire. Every major alien empire heard it. The forgotten world had moved. It wasn't a distress call. It wasn't a message for peace. It was only 2 chilling words. "We see you," in the halls of the Varnock Empire. The mood turned cold. Their scouts had confirmed it. A human dreadnought had appeared, jammed their systems, and vanished before they could fire. Not destroyed, not damaged, just gone. Chancellor Rukar stood before the Galactic Assembly, his voice calm, but his eyes filled with fear. "We assumed Earth was gone. We were wrong." The other leaders, Zarnathi Hive, Ulrex Dominion, Khazari Syndicate, murmured among themselves. What was that ship? How could humans hide it for so long? Was it real? Rukar activated a holoscreen. It showed the brief footage from the Varnock scout ship. The black dreadnought moved without lights, almost like it swam through space. It made no sound. It fired no weapon. But the Varnock ship had lost control just by being near it. This, Rukar said, is no ghost. It is real. Back on Earth, far beneath the Rocky Mountains, an ancient command center roared to life. Red lights blinked, doors hissed open after centuries of being sealed. Cryopods lined the walls. One of them melted open, steam filling the room. Admiral Nora Blake took her first breath in 200 years. She coughed, wiped the frost from her face, and looked around. Her voice was dry. Status report. An AI voice answered, cold and calm. Earth Protocol. Last Echo has been activated. Solar Defense Phase 1 is complete. Dreadnought Silent Storm has re-entered orbit. Admiral Blake stood up, her eyes sharp, and the fleet. Sleeping, Blake stepped forward and touched a control panel. All across the walls, images of ships lit up hidden vessels buried under moons, planets, and asteroids. Each one had been built in secret, she whispered. Time to wake them up. Back on the alien side, panic turned into plans. The Zarnath Hive sent spy drones toward the Sol system. The Ulrex Dominion prepared a fleet. They still believed Earth had only one ship. One last relic, old and alone. But they didn't know the truth. 2 centuries ago, Earth had lost the War of the Rings. Crushed by a united galactic force, the human fleet was reduced to ashes. Or so the galaxy believed. What no one knew was that Earth had planned it. It wasn't surrender. It was retreat. Back then, during the last days of the war, a secret command had been issued, Project Last Echo. The goal, disappear completely, hide all surviving technology, remove Earth from every star map, go silent for however long it took. The humans hid their remaining warships in deep caves, under oceans, inside dead moons, and behind solar storms. Some were covered in rock. Some were placed inside asteroid fields. Others were cloaked and frozen in time. The commanders went into cryosleep, guarded by AI minds older than any alien empire. Now, the AI minds had decided it was time to return. Admiral Blake stood before a screen showing Earth, small and quiet. Then she pressed a button, one by one. The dreadnoughts awoke from beneath Europa's icy shell. A massive black shape broke through the surface. Ice shattered for miles. From Titan's methane lakes, a long vessel rose, glowing with blue light. On Mars, a mountain split open, revealing a sleeping ship the size of a city. Each ship sent the same message, status, online, ready to engage. Admiral Blake nodded. Send our signal to the galaxy, the AI asked. What signal? She smiled. The ghost is awake. Across the stars, alien empires received the new message, and they began to panic in a secret war chamber. The Ulrex Dominion's warlord smashed his fist on the table. They played dead for 200 years, and we believed it. A general replied, it seems, they wanted us to believe it. Why now? Why wake up now? No one had answers. Meanwhile, in space above Earth, the Silent Storm met with 2 more dreadnoughts, Vigil and Nightwatch. They drifted together without engines. Using gravity shields to move silently, their weapons were hidden. Their hulls looked like pieces of night sky. To any alien, they looked like empty space. Inside the command deck of the Vigil, Captain Elias Monroe sipped old coffee from a metal cup. The ship had restored his cryopod. Just an hour ago, you think they're ready? He asked his AI named Cora. They have no idea what's coming, she answered. Good. He stood up and gave the command. Take us to Saturn's orbit. Let's prepare the net. Back in deep space, the first alien probe entered the system again. This time, it was smarter. It hid behind debris, used low energy, and scanned only. Passively, it reached near Jupiter before it vanished without a trace. No signal, no data. Just gone, the Varnock High Command received the last fragment of video, a large human face looking directly into the probe before it was crushed. The alien commander whispered, they were watching the whole time. The galaxy had thought Earth was silent. But it wasn't. It was listening. And now the ghosts were moving.
The stars around Earth began to change. They didn't blink. They didn't burn out. They moved at first. Alien ships thought it was just static, a glitch in the star maps. But when they looked again, they saw something that froze their blood. The stars weren't moving. Something dark was passing in front of them. Something massive. Inside the command deck of the Ulrex Dominion flagship Razor Claw, the crew stared at the screen. A silent shape had just drifted out from behind Neptune's moon. It was long, flat, and covered in armor plates darker than space. No energy signals detected, said the sensor officer. Then how is it moving? Asked the captain. No one answered. The massive object began to rotate slowly. Red lights pulsed along its sides, like veins coming to life. Then, with a quiet burst of gravity, it slid into full view. It wasn't a rock. It wasn't a wreck. It was a warship. And it had Earth's old markings. The Razor Claw turned and ran back in Earth's orbit. Admiral Nora Blake stood at the main command center. The room, once dark and cold, now pulsed with life. Dozens of crew members were awake. Cryopods hissed as more humans stepped out, eyes wide with purpose. The room echoed with old voices waking after centuries. One officer, young and pale, looked at the Admiral. Is it true we're back? Blake nodded. We are, and the galaxy needs to remember who we are. On Mars, the surface cracked open again, from deep within Olympus Mons, the largest volcano in the solar system, a black triangle-shaped ship pushed upward. Its name, HSF Black Rain, buried for over 200 years. It had been powered down, its systems in sleep mode, its crew in frozen silence. Now, as the mountain broke and fire spilled out, the Black Rain rose like a demon from legend. On Titan, methane lakes boiled as a hidden hangar opened. The ship inside was longer than any alien cruiser. It was round, smooth, and silent, its engines invisible. This one bore the name HSF Whisperfang. Each Earth dreadnought was different. Each one had a purpose. They weren't just ships. They were weapons of fear. In deep space near Pluto, an ancient array known as Solargate flickered back online. Once used to teleport small ships across solar distances, it now locked onto human dreadnoughts rising from the shadows. With a silent flash, the dreadnoughts began to jump across the system. 1 second near Jupiter, the next above Earth, then near Venus, then gone again. They were testing speed, testing power, testing how fast they could kill if they had to. In the control room of the HSF Silent Storm, Commander Eli Ward walked barefoot across the metal floor. He hadn't worn shoes since his pod opened. He didn't need to. The ship knew him. Its systems followed his heartbeat. Bring the others, he whispered. The ship replied in a soft human voice. The fleet is listening. Ward stared at the empty space in front of him. Not empty. Not anymore. Over 20 Earth dreadnoughts now floated across the solar system. Some above moons, some hiding behind rings, some buried inside comets, but they were all awake. And they were watching. At the edge of the Sol system, the Varnak Empire had sent a small war group, 4 cruisers and 1 command ship. They believed the humans had maybe 5 ships total, maybe old and half working, but they were wrong. The moment they passed Saturn's orbit, their screens turned black. One by one, their ships went dark, power lost. Engines stopped. A voice came through all their systems, calm, male, human. You are in restricted space. Turn back. Final warning. The Varnak commander laughed. Then one of his ships vanished in a silent flash. No explosion. No debris. Just gone. Another ship screamed for help. Their hull was being crushed from the inside. Metal twisted like paper. The captain's voice was the last thing heard before static. There's something in here with us. Then silence. Only the command ship remained. Alone. It turned around. Back at Earth, Admiral Blake smiled slightly. The message has been sent. One officer looked at her. Are we at war? She shook her head. Not yet. But we're not hiding. Anymore. In a secret space beyond Pluto, known only in old human records as the Arc Field, 3 more ships were preparing to wake. These were not just dreadnoughts. They were larger, older, built during Earth's darkest hours. After the final battles, their names were never spoken publicly. HSF, Leviathan, HSF Sunbreaker, HSF Final Dawn. Their crews hadn't been revived yet, because the galaxy wasn't ready for them. Not yet. Back in deep space, alien empires were beginning to realize something. Earth had not been sleeping. Because it was weak. Earth had been watching. Listening. Waiting. Every alien map marked Earth as a minor system. Every academy taught that Earth was a fallen world. But now, the stars told a different story. The dreadnoughts were real. And they were moving. From silence came thunder, and the galaxy would never be the same again. The stars trembled. Above Saturn. Alien ships floated like hunters in the dark. Unaware they were already prey, the Varnak Empire had sent a full strike fleet this time, 12 warships, 2 carriers, and 1 heavy command ship. They came to Earth's system with a clear message: dominate or destroy. They expected a few Earth dreadnoughts. Old, slow, maybe brave, but outdated. They were wrong. The lead Varnak ship, Spear of Night, moved into Saturn's orbit, using its advanced scanners to search for human vessels. Their captain, Torak Zan, was proud and confident. He had fought in over 60 battles. "Show me their ships," he growled. "Nothing yet, Captain," his officer replied. "Saturn's rings are blocking our scans. Too much debris." Torak leaned forward, his yellow eyes sharp. "Keep looking. Humans can't hide forever." But that was the mistake. Humans weren't hiding anymore. They were waiting. Inside the rings of Saturn, dozens of small devices had been placed over 100 years ago. They looked like rocks. They drifted like dust. But each one was a hidden gun part of Earth's forgotten defense network, the ringline grid. Now it woke up. Without a sound, the guns inside the ringstones opened. Then they fired. Beams of blue light sliced through space. In less than 5 seconds, 3 Varnak warships were torn in half. No warning, no time to react. Just clean, perfect destruction. On Spear of Night, alarms screamed. "We're under attack." "From where?" "I don't know, there's nothing on sensors." Torak stood wide-eyed. "Raise shields, return fire." But there was nothing to shoot at. The next beam came from behind a moon. It pierced straight through a Varnak carrier, splitting it like a fruit. Bodies and wreckage floated into space. Above Saturn, the Earth dreadnought HSF, Black Rain uncloaked. Its black hull shimmered as it absorbed incoming fire. Its cannons turned toward the enemy like eyes focusing on a target. Then it fired, one massive pulse. One Varnak command ship gone. No explosion. Just sudden silence. Captain Elias Monroe, aboard the Black Rain, gave a calm order: "Let the galaxy know Earth is not soft." The dreadnought disappeared again, using its silent engines to slip back into the darkness. Panic spread across the Varnak fleet. "They're using gravity weapons. We can't see them. Shields are failing." Torak shouted into the comms, "Retreat, full reverse. Get us out of this system." But it was too late. Near Titan, 2 more Earth dreadnoughts revealed themselves: HSF Vigil and HSF Ironsong. They moved like hunters, slow, controlled, unstoppable. Together, they surrounded the fleeing Varnak fleet. One Varnak cruiser turned to escape, engines burning hot. It didn't get far. The Vigil locked on and launched a single missile. It moved slowly, almost casually. When it hit, the explosion was silent and terrifying. The shockwave rippled through space, bending metal like paper. Only 2 Varnak, Ships made it out alive. Both were damaged. Both carried the same message. Do not come back. Back on Earth. Admiral Nora Blake watched the reports come in. 3 Dreadnoughts. No losses, an officer said. Blake nodded. Let the others rest for now. No need to bring out the Leviathan yet. The officer looked up. You think they'll send more? Blake smiled, cold and sharp. Yes, and that's the point. Across the galaxy, news of the destruction spread like fire through dry grass. 12 Varnak ships had entered the Sol system. Only 2 returned. Alien worlds began to whisper. The humans are awake. They were ready. They never forgot. In the command center of the Khazari Syndicate, their high leader stared at the data. This can't be, he whispered. We destroyed Earth's fleet centuries ago. An advisor replied, it seems they built a new one in secret. The high leader shook his head. No, these aren't new. These are old, very old. Older than our empire. He stood slowly. They planned this. Back in Earth's orbit, the Dreadnought Silent Storm hovered without sound. Commander Eli Ward stood alone in the viewing deck. He watched the stars and said nothing. His ship spoke to him softly. Enemy forces are retreating. He nodded. Good. Do we pursue? Not yet. Orders? He closed his eyes. Let them warn the others. The eye paused, then answered, as you wish. Ward opened his eyes and looked out at the dark. We were ghosts, he said. Now we're fire. Down on Earth, in an old base buried beneath Antarctica, another cryochamber began to open. Ice. Hissed. Steam rose. A woman stepped out tall, pale, eyes sharp as knives. Her name, Commander Rhea Quinn. She had once led the fleet that saved Europa. Now she was needed again. Report, she said, her voice hoarse. The AI answered, the first strike is complete. The galaxy knows Earth lives. She smiled, then whispered, time for them to fear us again. 2 Varnak ships limped through deep space. Silent and damaged, their hulls were burned. Their crew was broken. Inside the lead ship, Whisper Claw, the captain sat in silence, staring at the blackness outside. His name was Velker. He had never lost. A battle until Saturn. 12 ships entered. 10 were lost. No human fleet should have been that strong. And yet, the humans didn't even chase them. They let him go. Why? Then he realized something terrifying. The humans wanted them to escape. They wanted them to talk. They wanted the story to spread, and it did. Across the galaxy, every major empire gathered. The Khazari Syndicate, the Zarnathi Hive, the Ulrex Dominion, and many more. Together, they agreed. Earth had become a problem. A trap must be set for the humans this time. They built a grand fleet. Over 200 ships. Scouts, bombers, carriers, command vessels, flagships. They moved in secret, heading toward the Sol system. This time, they said, Earth would burn. But they didn't know. Earth had already seen them coming. In Earth's underground war room, Admiral Blake watched the reports from hidden drones placed far beyond Pluto. The alien fleet was large, slow, and loud. A perfect target. Commander Rhea Quinn stood beside her, arms crossed. They think they're being clever, Rhea said. Blake smiled. Let them. Then she gave the order. Activate Operation Hammerfall. Thousands of hidden platforms across the solar system blinked to life. Saturn's rings were reloaded. Uranus' moons hummed with buried weapon cores. Even Neptune's atmosphere hid secrets, cloaked drones floating in its upper clouds. And deep inside Jupiter's red storm, something massive waited. The alien fleet entered the system in tight formation. They expected resistance, but nothing moved. Earth's dreadnoughts were nowhere to be seen. Perfect. Double quotes. We caught them hiding. The Zarnathi war leader laughed. Pathetic. Then, suddenly, the lead scout ship vanished. No explosion. No fire. Just gone. Seconds later, 3 more ships disappeared. Panic started. Something's here. We can't see them. Shields are breaking. The aliens fired wildly into empty space. Nothing hit, and then the storm began. Saturn's rings came alive. Hidden guns fired precise beams, slicing through ships like knives. Moons exploded, revealing weapon caches. Mines detonated in perfect sync. That it wasn't random. It was art. The alien fleet tried to scatter, but Earth had mapped every move before they arrived. Hidden gravity wells pulled them into deadly zones. One alien command ship turned toward the asteroid. Belt to escape. Big mistake. The belt lit up. From behind rocks. Old Earth battle stations powered on and opened fire. Plasma, torpedoes, kinetic rods, railguns that fired at near light speed. The sky turned red. In one corner of space. 5 alien ships grouped together and launched a massive strike. Their combined firepower could destroy a small moon, but nothing was there. Just silence, until the HSF Final Dawn uncloaked behind them. Its voice came over their systems. Wrong direction. Then, with one pulse, it turned all 5 ships into dust. Inside the Final Dawn, Commander Rhea Quinn sat calmly, reading an old book. Next, she said. At Neptune, the clouds spun unnaturally. The alien fleet sent drones to check. They found nothing but wind and lightning. Until a shape rose out of the storm. It was round and black, with no visible weapons. HSF Leviathan. The largest human dreadnought ever built. The ship didn't speak. It didn't warn. It just moved. Its energy pulse created waves in space. Alien ships nearby were thrown off course. Systems crashed. Hulls cracked. The Leviathan fired once, and an entire wing of the alien fleet 20 ships ceased to exist. No debris. Just light. The alien admiral screamed for retreat. But there was no escape. Earth had sealed every exit path. From the asteroid belt to the Oort cloud, cloaked ships waited. Drones tracked every engine. Traps activated on every planet. It wasn't a battlefield. It was a cage. Back on Earth, Admiral Blake stood silently, watching the battle unfold. She said nothing. She didn't need to. The fleet was executing the plan perfectly. No fear. No chaos. Just control. In space, the HSF Whisper Fang darted through enemy lines, disabling engines with surgical precision. It didn't destroy. It embarrassed. A Khazari flagship tried to launch escape pods. But even the pods were tracked. They were captured mid-flight and pulled into invisible gravity nets. Hours passed. Then silence returned. Of the 200 alien ships that entered the system, only one was allowed to leave. A small drone vessel. Inside was a single message from Earth. You brought your best. Now you've seen ours. The drone left the system untouched, because Earth wanted it to go. To warn the others. To tell them. The trap was never for us. The stars were quiet again. But it wasn't peace. It was fear. Across the galaxy, no empire spoke of victory now. The great fleets had entered Earth's system in pride and left in smoke or silence. A trap, they called it. A massacre, others whispered. But Earth had called it something else. A warm dash up. Inside the Earth Defense Command, Admiral Nora Blake stood before a massive screen. Red dots marked fallen enemies. Blue dots showed human DREADNOUGHTS undamaged. Behind her, Earth's High Council watched with wide eyes. They had once doubted the plan. Not anymore. Blake spoke without emotion. They sent their best. We didn't even need to wake all the ships. Counselor Marr, an older man, swallowed hard. What if they return with more? Blake turned, her voice colder than ice. Let them. In orbit, the Leviathan drifted above Earth like a dark moon. Its armor was silent, its weapons were quiet, but its power was unmatched. Within the ship, Commander Rhea Quinn looked down at Earth's surface through the glass floor of the command deck. Her eyes locked onto the blue oceans, the green forests, And the scars of old wars. We nearly lost all this once, she said. Hooray, I answered. Now it's protected. She whispered, no, now. It's untouchable. Deep beneath Earth's crust, in an area once known as the Colorado Vault, systems long buried began to wake. A warning rang across the command lines. Planetary cannons charging. Coordinates set. The cannons were not for space battles. They were not for fleets. They were for empires. Each cannon had been built in secret, buried under Earth, Mars, and Luna. They used the planet itself as a stabilizer. Each shot could tear through shields, armor, and even the crust of planets. Admiral Blake gave the order. Prepare a demonstration. The target was a dead moon on the edge of the Khazari frontier. No population. No atmosphere. But it belonged to them. Perfect. The countdown began. The galaxy was watching. Every empire, every fleet, every spy drone. They all waited. Then Earth fired. The first cannon beneath Mars launched a beam of concentrated plasma wrapped in a gravity shell. It crossed the distance between Mars and the moon in under 8 seconds. The moon cracked. Surface shattered. The core pulsed. Then exploded. A ball of fire replaced the moon. Not even dust remained. On Khazari Prime, their council stood speechless. The feed ended. Then another message arrived, this time in every galactic language. We did not forget. We did not forgive. We waited. Now you will remember. Shock turned into chaos. Across alien worlds, fleets pulled back. Colonies were abandoned. Earth wasn't just a forgotten world anymore. It was a superpower. In Earth's skies, human dreadnoughts began a show of force. They moved in formation. They blinked in and out of cloak. They danced through asteroid fields. Each move was designed for one purpose: to show the galaxy who owned the solar system. At Jupiter, a dozen dreadnoughts aligned around the gas giant. They released satellites that lit the clouds into glowing rings. Messages written in plasma danced across the surface. Welcome to Earth. On Titan, a hidden Earth base lit up its shield dome, visible from space. Inside, thousands of soldiers. Trained. Exosuits. Shock armor. Anti-grav tanks. Earth had not only rebuilt its fleet, it had built armies the galaxy hadn't seen before. At the same time, the Zarnithi Hive launched a final attempt. They sent a stealth squad elite, fast and cloaked. Their mission: strike Earth's planetary command. But they never reached it. As soon as they entered Earth's upper atmosphere, the Sky Veil system activated. Thousands of satellites hidden in the clouds lit up. Each one tracked targets with deadly accuracy. The intruders vanished in flame before they touched land. Commander Eli Ward stood aboard the silent storm, watching it all unfold. The old Earth fell because it trusted too easily, he said. This Earth won't make the same mistake. His AI replied, enemy movement is slowing across all sectors. He nodded. Good, let them choke on fear. In the asteroid belt, humans deployed a final piece, the orbiter ring. A string of stations, hidden as rocks, now lit up and created a line of defense that pulsed like a heartbeat. No ship would enter without Earth knowing. Admiral Blake stood before the human fleet broadcast system. The time had come. She looked into the camera. To the galaxy. To those who believed we were gone, we are not. To those who watched us suffer, we remember. To those who come with peace, speak, we are listening. She paused. But if you bring war, then see what happens when Earth roars. And then she ended the transmission. No threats. No drama. Just truth. Back on the alien homeworlds, leaders sat in silence. No one moved. No one spoke. Because they knew. Earth had changed. No longer quiet. No longer weak. No longer hiding. Earth had risen. And now, the roar would echo across the stars. The silence after Earth's roar didn't bring peace. It brought fear. Alien empires held emergency meetings. Borders were redrawn. Fleets pulled back. Colonies went quiet. They thought Earth would stay in its system. They thought the humans would be satisfied. But Earth was not finished. Not yet. Admiral Nora Blake stood inside the main Earth Defense Command Center. The war room was lit with red and blue lights, each representing dreadnoughts in formation. Her face was calm, but her voice carried weight. "We held the line," she said. "Now we take the fight to them." Around her, commanders nodded. Men and women who had just awakened from 200 years of cryosleep now stood, ready to lead fleets again. This mission was different. They weren't defending anymore. They were going out. It was called the final push. Earth's dreadnoughts would leave the solar system and bring judgment, not revenge, not cruelty, just a message to the galaxy: never again. Above Earth, a group of 12 dreadnoughts aligned into strike formation. Silent Storm, Black Rain, Iron, Song. Vigil. Final. Leviathan. And others, each one loaded with weapons, soldiers, and something more powerful than fire. Colon Memory. Commander Eli Ward stood on the deck of the Silent Storm, his coat flowing behind him. He looked out at the stars. "How long have we waited for this?" he asked quietly. His AI answered, 206 years, Commander." Eli nodded. "Then let's not wait a minute longer." The fleet moved. In a blink, the 12 dreadnoughts vanished into jump space, silent flashes cutting through the darkness. Their first destination, Varnek Border Post 09. This outpost had once held human prisoners. Now it held only arrogance. Within hours, the dreadnoughts arrived. The Varnak station had old defenses, slow guns, small cruisers, and automated shields. It had never been upgraded. After all, Earth was dead. The humans didn't fire first. Instead, they sent a message: release all records, apologize, or be erased. The Varnak commander laughed. He never got to laugh again. The final dawn fired one concentrated plasma beam. The station didn't explode. It vanished. The cruisers tried to escape, but Whisper Fang was already behind them, moving like a ghost, cutting engines with surgical shots. Within minutes, the battle was over. Commander Rhea Quinn stood on her bridge, arms folded. "They were warned," she said. The fleet didn't stop. They moved again, from one system to another. Earth's dreadnoughts struck hard and fast. On Khazari mining colonies, they found human bones. They buried them with honor, and then leveled the mining sites. On Zarnathi outposts, they found old Earth tech used for experiments. They recovered it, and then burned the stations to ash. In every system they visited, the message was the same: we are not weak. We are not forgotten. We are human. The galaxy watched in shock. Alien news network showed the dreadnoughts carving paths through regions that once belonged to Earth. Civilian ships were never harmed. Escape pods were always allowed, but military targets? Gone. Clean. Perfect. Like justice with fire. In one dark system, Earth's fleet discovered something unexpected. An abandoned space station, orbiting a dead star. Inside survivors. Humans. Old, thin, still alive. They had been forgotten by everyone but Earth. When the Iron Song picked them up, the old man leading the group cried. "We thought you were gone," he said. "We prayed for the old fleet to return." Commander Eli Ward knelt beside him. "We never left," he said softly. "We just waited." After that, more colonies began to speak up. Old human cells, scattered and hidden across the galaxy, lit their signals. They sent out old Earth codes. And Earth answered. One by one, they were rescued. The dreadnoughts changed course to protect them. The final push wasn't just about firepower. It was about bringing humanity home. But not everyone was happy. The Ulrex Dominion gathered a new fleet. Fast. Dangerous. They launched a sneak attack on the human dreadnought Stormbreaker while it refueled near a gas giant. They thought the dreadnought was alone. It wasn't. The moment they fired, 5 Earthships dropped out of cloak and surrounded them. It wasn't a battle. It was an example. Ulrexes Fleet was wiped in under 2 minutes. Not a single human life was lost. After that, no empire dared move again. In every corner of the galaxy, the stars now glowed a little differently, because they were being watched, because Earth had returned, and because the Dreadnoughts were still moving. At the edge of the Khazari Empire, the Leviathan stopped before a moon. Underneath that moon was a vaulta, place where stolen human technology had been stored and studied. Commander Rhea Quinn ordered a full drop. Soldiers landed. Scanned. Retrieved. No killing. Just precision. Then the Leviathan opened its lower decks and dropped a warhead, the size of a bus. The moon cracked in half. As the human fleet turned to leave, they received hundreds of silent pings from old human beacons. A voice came through the comms, recorded 2 centuries ago. If you're hearing this, then we won. Welcome home. Commander Eli Ward closed his eyes. He smiled, and the fleet moved on. The final push was not about war. It was about truth. And Earth was making sure no one would ever forget it again. The galaxy no longer whispered. It watched. Every screen, every station, every home across the stars tuned in to see what Earth would do next. And Earth said nothing. For days, the human dreadnoughts drifted through space, silent, powerful, unchallenged. 12 dreadnoughts had left the Sol system. 12 returned. Not one was damaged. Not one was lost. Inside Earth's Defense Command, Admiral Nora Blake stood at the highest point of the war room. Her gaze moved across the digital map, now glowing blue. Earth territory restored. But there was one system left, one message unfinished. The Varnak homeworld, the heart of the empire that once led the charge against Earth, the same empire that hunted human refugees, that used human prisoners as trophies. It was time. Blake pressed a button. All commanders, she said. Final operation begins now. A signal spread to the fleet. The dreadnoughts aligned in orbit, and the Leviathan, Earth's largest ship, powered up fully for the first time. Its core thrummed with energy older than the wars, deeper than the stars. Inside the Leviathan, Commander Rhea Quinn stood quietly. She wore no armor, no medals, only black. She looked through the viewing screen at the small blue dot in the distance. Earth. Double quotes. Our silence protected us, she said. Her. I responded. Now the silence ends. The fleet jumped. Across the galaxy. Ships and stations picked up the warp ripples. The dreadnoughts had arrived in Varnak, prime system. The heart of the empire. Their capital planet glowed with city lights and tower shields. Dozens of orbital defenses surrounded it. Fleets guarded its moons. It was considered untouchable, but not anymore. The human dreadnoughts formed a wide circle just outside the system's main defense grid. They didn't attack. They didn't even aim. They simply waited. The Varnak Emperor panicked. He sent ships. Hundreds. He broadcast demands. Then offers. Then pleas. But Earth said nothing. And then a new signal cut across every frequency. It wasn't words. It was a sound. Heartbeat. Slow, deep, mechanical. The same signal that had first echoed from the silent storm months ago. It now echoed across every Varnak ship, station, and palace. Boom, boom. One by one, the enemy ships stopped moving. Weapons powered down. Shields collapsed. The dreadnoughts had activated the pulse, a secret technology built into Earth's new AI systems. It didn't destroy. It simply showed power. It took control. Across Varnak space, screens turned black. Then lit up with a single message. We never left. Panic exploded across the Varnak Empire. But the dreadnoughts did not fire. They launched packages. Dozens of steel pods, small and fast, fell from orbit. They landed across the planet on top of government buildings, data centers, prisons. But when they opened, there were no bombs inside, only proof. Inside each pod were files. Evidence. Videos. Crimes. All the things Varnak leaders had done to humans during the silent years. Now, The Varnak people saw everything. The truth was no longer buried. Earth didn't want revenge. Earth wanted them to know. On the surface, riots began. Crowds filled the streets. Protests screamed into the sky. Generals fled. Ministers resigned. And Earth watched. Silently. Back in orbit, the Leviathan lowered one final device. It was small. Silver. And ancient. A recording. When it activated, a hologram of a human girl appeared. She was no soldier, no leader. Just a child smiling, waving, standing in front of a ruined home. Then came her voice. "My name is Lila. They took my mother. They said she was dangerous. But all she did was hide me." Her voice trembled. "If someone finds this, please remember us." The recording faded. No more words followed. The fleet turned around. One by one, the dreadnoughts jumped away. No explosions. No destruction. Only memory. Only silence. But it was no longer Earth's silence. It was the galaxies, forever shattered. Back on Earth, the sky was clear, the oceans calm, the cities alive. In the streets, people gathered and looked up. Above them, the silent storm hovered gently. The dreadnoughts had returned home. Their mission was complete. Inside Earth Defense Command, Admiral Blake received final reports. All colonies accounted for. All human refugees rescued. All enemy operations neutralized. She gave one final command. Put the fleet in orbit. Let them rest. The war was over, but the story had just begun. Across the stars, empires began to write new maps. New alliances. New rules. And every one of them had the same warning printed in bold, glowing letters. Do not provoke Earth. At the center of the galaxy, a young alien diplomat spoke at a peace conference. She stood nervous, then looked up at the screen above her. It showed Earth's flag. "I was raised to fear humans," she said. "But now, I respect them." And in the back of the chamber, a man in black stood silently. No name. No rank. Just watching. Because Earth was still watching. And Earth never forgets. The silence is gone. Earth has spoken. And the stars will never forget the sound.